Hey guys, I'm out riding my bike, and what I love about when I ride my bike is that it clears my head, makes me think about things that kind of matter, that have been kind of affecting me, and kind of helps me work through the process of what to do about these situations and what's going on in the world and stuff like that. But I guess I've always toted anti-bullying stuff for my whole life, because I was a survivor of being bullied, deeply bullied as a kid. And with all these mass shootings going on right now, it had me just thinking about things that people have said about, what should happen, like banning guns and putting people, armed guards in these schools and stuff like that. And I don't know. I guess I will go over some of the stuff that's happened to me as a kid and even as an adult with people, bullies specifically. Because you got your victims and you've got your bullies, right? They're victims, and the bullies have their own bullies or their own demons that they face. So it's just this chain reaction of, like, they're not happy, so they go after weaker people or people they perceive to be weaker and bully them. And I guess in my head, it's like it's all mental health, right? So at the end of the day, it's not necessarily the guns, it's not necessarily the putting armed teachers in schools, which I think should be the case regardless. I think there should be somebody in there protecting our kids. But mental health, like, I think that teachers should get more training on how to deal with issues at school, or developing courses that are required for tolerance. Not everybody's made the same. Like, there's a lot of people that think that my value system should be your value system, and that's not necessarily the case. We all have a conscience, right? Like, we all kind of know what's good and bad, and I think that most bullies know what they're doing is not right, but they do it anyways because it either makes them feel good or gives them that popularity that we all want. Because at the end of the day, even as victims, us, the ones that are bullied, we want people, like, around us. We all need people, right? And some people just don't know how to get that on their own. And when I was a kid, I deeply wanted friends. Like, I really, really, really wanted friends. But unfortunately for me, I was so perceived to be so different than everybody else in my grade, in my school. I was singled out as a freak, as a weirdo, and picked on and isolated from other kids. And I think that's where the problem ends up going, where you got a nice kid, didn't do anything wrong, and they don't know why they're getting picked on. They don't have a support system because now they've officially been isolated from anybody that could have been, their support system. And it puts people in a bad place. Like, I know when I was a kid and I had these bullies that I guess they were just having issues at home. I knew of one particular girl that, from what I had heard, is that her parents were going through a divorce, and her dad used to coach us in sports and stuff, and he was so mean, like, so mean. It made sports not fun whenever he coached, and so it was kind of like a glimpse of understanding that, life was not as good for her. Maybe she was taking that same behavior and using it to, go after people like me, or just me. And that sucks. I didn't deserve it, but then enough of those people, and they're her little clique, before you knew it, it was social suicide to be hanging out with me. And I was way young. I mean, I was a kid. I went to grade school in the 90s. So it was a little different because there wasn't even as much understanding on how to handle these sorts of situations back then. And I know my parents didn't know how to handle it. I should have seen a therapist. But, what do you do? I mean, I don't blame my parents at all. I think that, had they seen signs, I think that, my brother was bullied as well, and he handled it differently than I did. And I go inside myself when I get bullied, or when I got bullied as a kid. I went inside and just hid inside my head. And, just because the bullies have this fight or flight situation where they don't want to feel what they don't want to deal with their inner feelings, so they project outward at you. For me, I went inside and I beat myself up inside. And why am I not liked? Why does nobody care about me? And years and years and years of that. I mean, I remember being in school, and we had school mass every Friday. And I remember sitting there, and I was probably like 7, 8 years old, like way too young to be thinking suicidal thoughts. And I was already, thinking, like, what's the point, as a kid? Like, why nobody cares about me? Nobody's going to miss me if I was gone, But in school, like in school mass, I remember imagining like a dragon crashing through the ceiling and burning everybody in the church to a crisp. Like all my bullies, all the people, everybody, and then I just jump on its back and fly out of the church. And I thought about stuff like that, and when I hear about these mass shootings with young people doing it specifically, I really deeply feel for them. I mean, I don't think that going after innocent people, I don't think going after anybody's great or good or anything, but I feel like I got a glimpse as a kid of what it's like to understand that you can get pushed beyond your limit of tolerance as a kid, and you didn't deserve it. And the worst thing that could possibly happen is when you're the victim of situations like that, and then people make you the bad guy, say that it's your fault. Oh, you should have hit them back. You should have done this. You should do that. When you make the victim the bad guy, what do you think it's going to do to that person? How do you think it's going to make them feel when that's not in their nature to be like that? And even as an adult, I think that you don't know everybody's background. You don't know that person's capabilities or what kind of situations they've been in, and traumatic life experiences that they've been through themselves, to ever come in and say, you should do this, you should do that. I think that instead of be offering support to that person, I think that's it. At the end of the day, these kids, people that have situations like this that happen, you should really come and see if they're okay. You don't have to fix their problems for them. A lot of us are capable of doing that in the long run, and I think that if you have like that support system, I mean, you can accomplish anything with a support system, right? But if you can't even show love or respect to somebody else that has showed you love and respect, then I don't understand. Just get out of their life. I don't know. When I was a kid, I don't know if you can see it. There's like a squirrel over there eating. I was hearing some crunching, and then he's over there eating a nut. Where was I? But yeah, as a kid, kids like that, like, some of them have mental disorders, disabilities. Some of them just want to be liked, loved, cared about. And it's funny because, like, nowadays there's movies, there's, we should all be better parents at this point, and showing that, like, no, we don't need to hit, we need to talk. Communication is something that's been definitely lacking I mean, even as an adult, I walk around and try to talk to people about stuff, and it's really hard for people to open up and communicate. I think that maybe having conversations in school at a young age, teaching kids how to open up, how to talk, how to communicate their feelings. And if you earn that trust, even as a teacher, and you earn that trust with that kid, they'll come to you with issues. Whether it's, violence at home or, bullies or whatever, and you just want somebody on your team. I don't know. I feel so bad for all the families of all these scenarios, honestly. I mean, we got to do better. There is a solution, and I think it's mental health. I don't think it's restricting guns. I don't think it's, I don't know. I just somebody personally that has been through really painful, emotionally traumatizing experiences over and over and over again because, I didn't get the help early on and learn the tools on how to cope and deal with these issues. And I think that definitely shows, in a lot of us as we get older, that we didn't get the proper, I guess, education on it. Like, not everybody's made the same. We're all made differently. We're all different personalities, and we all have to live on this planet together. But hopefully, this video helps somebody. I think more it's just getting that information that I've been thinking about this whole ride out of my head. And I feel like it comes so much clearer and more understandable when I'm writing than when I do these videos. And then of course my ADD, that's why I keep looking off, because everything, people are going to work and I'm like over here by a highway and some businesses and stuff, so distraction, squirrel. So it's really hard to keep my brain focused, but yeah, I don't know. What are y'all thoughts? What are y'all's thoughts? Comment below. Let me know what you think. Do you think I'm right? Do you think that mental health is something we need to start focusing on in schools, even with adults? I'm just tired of seeing people suffer. And I know that's part of living, is also the suffering side of it, but it shouldn't be all the time, especially for some of these kids. These kids don't deserve it. You call them these names, or these are evil people and this and that. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think they're all evil. I think that they were like you and me, and then they got pushed beyond their limits of reasoning. You poke at somebody once, you poke at them again, and then you continue to do it. What are they supposed to do? Like, you turn the other cheek so many times. I mean, even for me, there is a point where, you can't let the bullies, you can't let the people that are hurting you get away with it anymore. Like, it literally says, how to handle bullies is to push back. You don't have to hit them, but you have to let them know that you're not okay with what they're doing. And when you take away that power and let them know that it's not going to affect you anymore and you're not going to stand for it, it should help, but not always. You have to have that support system to kind of help you through those situations. But again, hopefully you guys are doing well. And again, feel free to comment below on what you think about all of this. Should I continue to make videos like this, where we discuss, hot topics? I just want people to be happy at the end of the day. But I think that happiness shouldn't be derived from putting down others and bad mouthing. I mean, stop letting people get away with bad behavior. Stop it. Stop it. I'm so sick of it. How is this world ever going to get better if nobody helps police it? Anyways, Have a good one, y'all. Peace.